Welcome back to Align Hot and Loaded, the podcast where we tell you how to build the life of your dreams. I'm Chloe.
And I'm Heather.
And today we're going to talk about something that I think every single person has questioned. What is my purpose? What is my destiny? What is my life path? Is it about why are we here? Is it about success, money, relationships, love? Is there something deeper beneath all of this? It might make you feel a little existential, which is why we're going to get into it. So, Heather, what are your thoughts on purpose in general?
Well, I think our purpose exists on two levels. And the first level is a personal purpose, the things that light you up, the things that make us feel alive, our passions, our creativity, gifts, relationships, businesses, art, careers, and family, all the things that uniquely express who we are. But underneath that, there's a deeper universal purpose we all share. And that purpose is to heal, raise our consciousness, evolve spiritually, and then help others do the same. Sometimes we help people directly through teaching, love, kindness, or service. And sometimes we help people simply through resonance, through the frequency we embody, because who we become energetically affects everyone around us.
So you're saying purpose isn't just what we do, it's who we become.
Exactly. We've been conditioned to believe purpose is just a job title or achievement, like I'm supposed to become this or I'm supposed to accomplish that. But true purpose is consciousness evolution, the external expression, whether you become a teacher, entrepreneur, mother, artist, healer, athlete, or creator, is just the vehicle. The deeper mission is the transformation of the soul. And as we evolve internally, we naturally begin uplifting the people around us. And that's what ascension actually is. Ascension isn't escaping Earth. It isn't floating off into another realm. It's the process of becoming more conscious, more healed, more loving, more aligned, while fully living here as a human being.
I love this, but as I'm listening, I feel like it can be really hard to tap into that in our modern society. Like you said, so many of us get attached to that external labels and validation. And I've absolutely gotten wrapped up in that. And I think it's why, a lot of us can lose track of the plot or the whole reason as to why we're here.
Mm-hmm. It's a process. It takes growth. And sometimes we have to go through some really difficult times to expand and heal and realize why we are here.
Yeah, and it's so easy to forget that and just get caught up in the day-to-day.
And that's our 3D world, our outer world. But the more you connect with yourself and something greater, the more you realize there's something more expansive and more important.
So in order to become more fully ourselves, you mentioned earlier ascension. I love that because I think people might hear the word ascension and think that it sounds like you're disconnected from real life. But what does it really mean to ascend?
True ascension helps you become more embodied. It's about removing the density inside of us, the densities of fear, of trauma, shame, anger, insecurity, resentment, our limiting beliefs, and subconscious programming. So the highest version of ourselves can finally come through clearly. And what's beautiful is, as your consciousness rises, your life naturally starts aligning with your true purpose. Because when you heal, you stop making decisions from fear. You stop abandoning yourself. And you stop chasing validation. You stop living according to conditioning. And you start asking, what genuinely lights me up? What am I naturally gifted at? And how can I contribute something meaningful to the world? And that's when purpose begins unfolding naturally.
I remember asking myself almost those exact same questions around the time I turned 25. And it's what I would call my quarter life crisis. And what I described it as is it felt as if I was waking up for the first time. And it really was the first time where I looked around and it's like, whoa, like I have not been living in alignment. I don't know what my purpose is. And I felt so lost. And I know so many people listening right now might also feel lost. So how do you even begin finding your purpose?
Well, usually purpose is discovered through healing and self-awareness. And most people are disconnected from themselves because they've spent years surviving instead of truly listening inward. We're carrying subconscious programming from childhood, trauma, society, fear, and heartbreak. And all of that noise disconnects us from our soul. The journey starts becoming aware of yourself. Who are you beneath your conditioning? What actually brings you joy? What gives you energy instead of draining it? What would you still want to do even if nobody applauded you for it? And sometimes purpose is hidden behind the very thing we fear the most, the challenge we keep avoiding, the dream we keep talking ourselves out of, and the healing conversation we don't want to have.
Yeah. To me, that just clicked something in my brain of the idea of like, do it scared. It doesn't mean to do it from fear, but I think it's what you just said. Like the thing we're most resistant to doing is maybe the thing we're actually supposed to do. And I've talked about this in a lot of videos, for example, like the fear of being seen. I think that's one that a lot of people relate to. They want to be posting online. They want to have the opportunity that comes with posting, but they feel so scared about putting themselves out there. Yeah, I mean, and I had that fear. But as soon as I got out of my own way and I started posting online and sharing my thoughts, I mean, it completely changed my life. And I've never felt more in alignment with my purpose. And it's led to me even sitting here with you. No, and look at us now. Yeah, it's like, who would have thought, right? And we were joking before we started recording. It's like, what is our purpose? To do this podcast.
Yes.
In a lot of ways, like, I mean that.
Yeah.
Because we're sharing
Absolutely.
the ways that we've changed our lives and in turn how we can help millions of people to change their lives.
Absolutely. And that's why growth requires courage.
Yep.
My book talks about how life throws us into the fire, not to destroy us, but to refine us.
Yeah.
And every challenge is shaping us into the person capable of fulfilling our purpose. If we constantly run from discomfort, we also run from transformation. But when we face our fears, when we move through resistance, and when we choose healing instead of avoidance, we become stronger, wiser, and more conscious human beings. And then our presence itself becomes healing to others.
Yeah. And I think speaking of healing to others, you mentioned resonance earlier, which is something we've covered plenty in other episodes, but let's dive into what that means as it relates to purpose.
Yeah, we've talked about it before, but it's really important to realize everything is vibration. Our thoughts vibrate, emotions vibrate, words vibrate, human beings vibrate. And people feel each other far more deeply than we realize. You can walk into a room and immediately feel tension or peace without anyone saying a word. And that's resonance. So when someone heals themselves and genuinely embodies peace, joy, compassion, gratitude, love, and authenticity, that frequency ripples outward. It gives others permission to rise too. And that's why one healed person can transform an entire family. Yeah. And one conscious leader can transform an organization. Yeah. And one loving person can shift generations of trauma.
So you're saying then healing ourselves is an act of service to the collective.
Absolutely. And I think that's something people overlook. We think healing is selfish because it focuses on ourselves initially. But healing yourself is one of the most selfless things you can do because unhealed pain gets projected outward. Unhealed people create more suffering. They create conflict, division, addiction, abuse, anger, manipulation, violence, hatred, and fear. But healed people create peace. And imagine if enough people genuinely healed, Imagine a world where the majority of humanity operated from love instead of fear, from compassion instead of judgment, and from unity instead of separation. Conflict would dissipate, hatred would decrease, and war would decrease. Because when you're truly connected to your heart and higher consciousness, it becomes almost impossible to intentionally harm others.
Yeah.
You recognize yourself in them. You realize we're interconnected. And that shift in collective consciousness would literally begin healing the world.
So we just solved for world peace. We just healed the world. No, I mean, it sounds really simple, but of course, there's so much that goes into that. But I hope that that relays to you, listener, how profound it is to focus on healing yourself and just how powerful that truly can be. And to think that it just goes so much further than just the career success you have or like the title that you hold. It goes so much deeper than that.
It does. Success without consciousness can still leave people empty.
Yep.
You can have money, status, attention, and achievements, but still feel disconnected from yourself. True fulfillment comes when your external life aligns with your soul.
Yep.
When your gifts, your purpose, and your consciousness are all moving together in harmony. And that's why service becomes such an important part of the journey. Not service from suffering, but service from overflow. We first learn service to self, taking care of our body, mind, and spirit, then service to others, then service to the collective.
Well, it's almost the exact thing as like the airplane analogy, right? Put the mask on yourself before you help others.
Yeah,
It's
that's right.
that exact thing. And yeah, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah.
I think talking about the word service, you know, a lot of people might think it's like spiritual teachings or they're thinking about like charity work. I don't know. But service can happen in everyday life.
Absolutely. Service can look like being a loving parent.
Yep.
It can be creating art that inspires people. It can be starting a business that genuinely helps others. Service can be being kind to strangers.
Yeah.
It can be creating opportunities for people. It can be listening deeply and helping someone feel seen.
Yeah.
Even simply embodying peace in a chaotic environment is service.
Yeah.
We're all influencing the collective, whether we realize it or not. And the question is, what frequency are we contributing?
I think that's so powerful, and it inspires me to think of more ways that I could be of service. But one of my favorite ways that I like to contribute is that I always say, like, never keep a compliment to yourself. And I've heard a lot of people talk about this, but it is one of my favorite practices because it's such an easy thing to do. So anytime I'm out and about or I'm like walking on the street and I see like a shirt that I like or someone's hair that's really pretty, like literally was walking home from the gym the other day and I saw this girl's like gorgeous hair and I was like, your hair is beautiful. And she turned around, she was like, thank you. Like that just made my day. And just even that exchange, I was like, oh, I feel so good that I just said that. And I'm sure she felt so happy that I complimented her hair. I mean, those are the kinds of things that we're talking about, right? And think about how much that can compound over time. Just little small acts like that are so, so powerful. So never keep a compliment to yourself. But going off of that, right? So if someone is feeling lost right now or disconnected or they don't know what their purpose is or they feel really uncertain about it, where should they begin?
Begin by reconnecting with yourself. Slow down enough to hear your own soul again. Heal the unresolved pain and take care of your body. Protect your energy. Become conscious of your thoughts and ask yourself, what feels aligned? What drains me? What brings me alive? And what kind of energy do I want to contribute to the world? And understand that purpose is not just a destination. It's an unfolding. You don't need to have your entire future figured out right now. Your next aligned step reveals the next one.
Yep.
And the more you heal, the clearer the path will become, because your soul already knows who you are. The journey is just remembering.
Yeah. I think that's such a good reminder that it isn't a destination, it's a journey, and we're constantly evolving and changing. But remembering your why will make your life that much more fulfilling and whole. The journey is remembering. And the journey isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming who we truly were all along.
Exactly. You are not broken. You are unfolding.
That is beautiful. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to Aligned, Hot, and Loaded. If this episode resonated with you, be sure to share it with someone who you think might like it as well. And remember, your purpose isn't just about what you accomplish. It's about the energy you embody and the healing you bring into the world. We'll see you next time.